and welcome back to Pillars of Eternity. So, I guess we're headed to Gilded Vale. Come on. My God. This is going to be a lot of chatting. And then some comments. Ah yes, seek help and cross the Vale Road.
Right.
This way we go. Until we meet... Hello? Ah. Here we are. Aside from two dead people. Fucking...
You must be one of the new settlers. Welcome to Gilded Vale. You'll be pleased to know that we've had some recent vacancies here.
He glances at the gnarly-looking monstrosity of the tree next door. You welcome everyone this way? The only answer you hear is the buzzing of flies from the tree.
Of course, we'll need to make some inquiries first. The inestimable Lord Radric VII has taken great pains to insulate our town from Widewind's legacy. Have you ever sired a Hollowborn child?
What are you talking about?
An infant born without a soul, of course. Lord Radric has made it his first priority to eliminate this scourge from our village. I should warn you, stranger. Here in Gilded Vale, we have a special place for dissidents, charlatans, and those who would hide a curse in our midst.
He steps to the side and inclines his head ever so slightly towards the deformed tree.
His lordship's wife is with child and due any day now. Without his approval, I shan't be able to find you a permanent settlement. It will have to wait until after the birth. We can continue our interview then, after the bell tolls from Radric's hold to signal my lord's new heir. In the meantime, you can find temporary accommodations at the inn, just southwest of here.
Yeah. Said something about Hollowborn and Wadeland's legacy before? He blinks. I forgot you foreigners do not have this curse in your homeland. The Hollowborn have been a scourge upon the Deerwood for almost 15 years now. He lowers his voice to a whisper. Children born without souls. He shakes his head. Pitiful dumb things that breathe. Barely, but do not truly live. Some say the Hollowborn are a disease. Some say they are a punishment from the gods. He raises his empty hands. In truth, no one knows. But they began spreading after the Saints' War, and so the name, Wadewind's legacy, stuck in honor of that foul, blasphemous pretender. His voice shakes with vitriol. I see. Lord Radric's decrees may seem strict at times, but he has our best interests at heart. Any other questions, don't hesitate to ask. It's important that everyone in Gilded Vale understands our rules. There's a strange ceremony being conducted by the ruins. You will want to mind where you mention that. Trespassing on Ingwithan ruins is illegal, not to mention dangerous. Probably saw someone attempting some new ritual to appease the gods. People try anything these days. Verith have mercy, we certainly have. Don't think so, just to say finish, there was a bee away. He polishes his spectacles on his sleeves. If you'd been that close to a Bewick, you wouldn't be standing here. I've been feeling strange since a close call with a Bewick. Is there someone who could help?
Whatever your problem, it sounds like a matter for an animancer. However, the only animancer in Gilded Vale isn't in any condition to speak. Consider yourself fortunate. After she failed Lord Radric, we saw to it that she wouldn't profit from the misplaced trust of others. A bad cure is often worse than none at all. But if you're set on finding a bottle of troll piss or a dead Audra pebble to rub on your forehead, you're welcome to check her pockets. A little corpse stink is nothing when you're digging for shit. My advice, however, is to be satisfied that you escaped and leave it at that.
Okay, goodbye.
Keep out of...
Listen!
Suppose let that be the last. And...
3,
Gods have mercy.
And lo and behold,
It seems your arrival is ill-timed. 3 bells toll only for the death of a Radric. I fear Lord Radric's heir is lost, or else Hollowborn, and so lost all the same. You should tread carefully. Circumstances have changed a great deal.
what happened? I'll know more details when the messengers arrive. The vagaries of childbirth, perhaps, but that's not your concern. What do you mean? Come to us at a time of mourning. A legacy has struck at the heart of Gilded Vale. Our efforts to redeem ourselves in the eyes of Vareth must be redoubled. He sets his steady gaze on you. Does this affect the Lord's offer to new settlers? I can be sure of nothing right now. I advise you to get some rest. The inn. Or a stable for all I care. Find me afterwards. I will know more soon. Okay, bye. Now. Tap. Before we explore this town more, no, not that way. This way. We shall go to the inn. And find an interesting encounter about him. You see 4 people gathered by the doors of the inn. Their raised voices and chopping gestures suggest an argument reaching its climax. The first figure raises his hands for calm. His face is partially obscured by a hood, but his height and stature suggest an elf.
I meant no offense. Let's put this matter to rest over a round, shall we? My treat.
Hoping to soothe our pride with a few Adira coppers, eh? We don't need your coin.
What's going on? One of the other men points at the hooded elf. His eyes are red from drink, but his gaze is focused. Mocking us, even while he shelters in our villages. Just goes to show these fancy Adir manners are worth. We don't take to that kind of treatment. Not from foreigners, and especially not from Adirians.
Go on. Say it again. I'm itching for an excuse.
Fie, you're itching for the kindling touch of your sister, you cocksfeather!
I'll cut that barrel-licking tongue out of your head.
This is a misunderstanding. I didn't say whatever it is you think I said. We've nigh quarrel.
Ye shall switch between being Irish and some other.
That's where you're wrong.
I don't think attacking him is such a good idea. And why is that? Because then you'll have to deal with me. Yes. They look at each other. One of the men gives the other two a warning shake of his head before turning to you. We're done for now. But this one better watch his step around here because we're not going anywhere. Final scowl of Thebes. You can't actually fight them. As the 3 stumble away, the elf turns towards you, the tension almost gone from his smooth face.
Not quite how I hoped to get to know the neighbors. Thank you for your timely assistance with that awkward situation.
Glad I could help.
Courtesy is a rare pleasure in these parts. Though your accent suggests that you're no more local than I.
He straightens his hood and you note the remains of fraying embroidery on his gloves. His boots are caked with the dirt of many months' travel, but the leatherwork beneath it is sturdy and fine.
Well, I suppose introductions are in order after that little fiasco. Aloth Corvusser, at your service.
How'd you manage to get stuck out here? That's something of a long story.
Well, I'm a wizard by training, and an adventurer by necessity. I was born in the Seathwood, part of the mainland of the Adir Empire, and both of my parents served the nobility, which afforded me an education for which I am grateful. However, there were no open positions in those houses, and so I decided to seek new means in a new land.
Makes sense. And how exactly did you come to be here? I was traveling with a caravan, but we were separated near some ruins.
In Gwithan Ruins? Well, those can be dangerous places during the best of times, which these are not. In half the locals would arrest you for trespassing, and the rest would kill you outright. I'm curious, what exactly did you find there?
Several hooded figures operating a strange machine. Aleph goggles at you silently, apparently assessing your earnestness. Finally, he gives you a clipped, awkward laugh.
You do manage to find yourself in rather interesting predicaments.
Yeah? So, how'd you cross the drops? I'm afraid that was a matter of misunderstandings and mistranslation. He tenses his fingers and looks away. Doesn't help that people in these parts remember their war with Adir like it was yesterday. You did make a rather lewd suggestion regarding one of the aggressors and his own sister. Ah, that. As I tried to tell them, they misheard me. Happens all too easily after a few pints, and the accident doesn't help. I see. For which I am grateful. Let's discuss something else. Why are you here?
An excellent question. I came looking for fresh air and cheap land. Instead, the magistrate gave me directions to the inn and a story about the local lord's expectant wife. But I take it that's a familiar tale.
Yeah. And you? I've been experiencing some strange things. I'm looking for an expert on souls.
Indeed. The local lord has searched far and wide for similar specialists. He has rid himself of them almost as desperately.
Looks at the tree in the center of town. Don't exactly look like a settler. I expect that such expertise would be best left elsewhere. You don't look like a settler.
Begging your pardon, but neither do you. Yet, circumstances can find a person in the strangest of places.
Yes, they can. Guess I should get going. As should I, given recent events. It's just as well. I've had enough of the weight of the watered wine and lumpy beds at the inn. He wrinkles his nose. They say even the owner tired of the place. Just up and left one day. It explains quite a lot about the upkeep. He gives you a guardedly hopeful, perhaps I could join you, I could use a change of scenery, and I find it's better to travel in numbers. As do I. Let's go.
Excellent. I shall follow you.
And the first thing we shall do is go right into the inn. It's worth having a companion. He also comes with some... He actually comes with a hood, that's cool. He comes with some spells.
Yeah.
Hello!
Greetings.
Hello and welcome to the King Purple Looks Up. Oh, it's you! Ten Frith told us what you did for him. It's such a relief to have him back. I can't thank you enough. Consider yourself a favorite of the house. Discounts on drink, rooms. Tenfrith said he wanted to whip up something nice for you. He's already back to work in the kitchen. She laughed. So what would you like? I would like to rest. The common room, which is free. It's free. There's a little fire. And I'm pretty sure this causes a story event. Yeah. Your sleep is restless and fevered, assaulted by hisses and whispers, blanketed with a suffocating anxiety. You open your eyes to awaken and find yourself in front of Gilded Hill's gallows tree, the creaking of its ropes growing louder in your mind until the sound is deafening. Hanging from the tree is an old dwarf woman whose face has shriveled inward like moldering fruit. Her head hangs limply to one side. As you look at her, she looms larger and larger in your mind until she is mere inches from your face. Suddenly, her head snaps up and her eyes open, and they are empty, and behind them is a vast nothingness that makes your stomach drop. Her mouth slowly parts, and with a gust of rancid air, she speaks a word. Watcher. You jolt awake, the foul smell of the dwarf woman's breath still permeating your nostrils. Sweat runs down your face in thick droplets, and your skin is soaked from head to toe. You remember the woman. You remember seeing her decaying face when you spoke with the magistrate. He called her an animancer. Though it fills you with a new, queasy apprehension, you find a strange compulsion to see this woman once more, if only to confirm she's truly dead. Yeah, that got experience for us. And we shall talk to him. Ah, to you, my savior. It makes a sweeping gesture to indicate the kitchen around you. It's good to be back. Do not think I will let this go unrewarded. I have decided that you have earned the right to learn one of my most closely guarded secrets. My dearest recipe. After this, you will eat nothing else. A savory pie to keep you hale and hearty, baby. Serve you well in your travels. That's a crafting thing. Food. Savory pie. It requires beer and grains and wheat. So yeah, it's a good thing. But we've leveled up. Another point in athletics. And I'm going to put survival up and... Yeah, I'm going to up survival on him. Aha, we can get defender. To enemies engage deflection. Targets at 3, but attacks slower. Confident aim. Steadies the fighters on causing a percentage of their graces to be hits and increasing the minimum damage for melee weapons. Really? That's cool. What's this? Guardian stance, instance, aura, deflection, but less accuracy. I'm going to get confident aim. No new talents. Okay then. Done. But that's a good ability. Look at us! We have a whole whopping 90.
Yes?
And then he has a buttload of lore. I'm just going to put it all into athletics so he's less tired. We could learn another 1 tier, or... well, we can learn 2 of these. Well, I want Aquatic Lance, I believe. Yeah. And then the Corrosive Siphon. Yeah. No new talents for you. Yep, and those are equipped. Okay, well. That's that for in here as far as I'm concerned. This episode's just talking to everyone because there's so many people to talk to. Now we have been urged to visit the tree. Come on. Run. Run. Calcorada de Benanzi. The squat, distended body of an elderly dwarf woman dangles from a thin, crooked bough that sags at the tug of her noose. The bloated purple flesh of her neck, worn away in patches like moth-eaten linen, bulges over the rope that suspends her, and her lifeless head lolls forward rigidly from one side to the other when the breeze shifts. You perceive a faint glow around her that casts no light on its surroundings, but there is a tepid warmth to it, and you feel somehow that you could reach out and touch it, not with your hands, but with some aspect of yourself that has no worldly dimension. Reach out for the woman. You take a deep breath, clearing your mind, focusing on your objective. As you exhale, you feel yourself spreading out towards the hanging woman, perceiving all that lies between you and her with new, unfamiliar awareness. Once you have expanded enough to reach her, there is a sudden jolt to your mind, a ringing electric surge of images and words and sounds. Involuntarily, you shut your eyes and feel yourself being pulled down to some deeper consciousness, in a space occupied only by you and the hanging woman. And when you open them again, she's staring at you, with eyes clouded in a milky fog, her body still swaying in a wind you no longer feel, from a tree that stands planted in a misty void. The woman gives you a slow nod of her head, the rope creaking as she does so, and she smiles at you.
Have you come here for me, dear, or have you gotten lost? Ah, it is both, I think. Yes?
How are you able to speak to me?
Is that what we're doing? Perhaps it just seems that way. Perhaps it is the easiest way for your mind to make sense of it. I think it is a very good choice.
Am I imagining this?
No, I think not. A pity that. It would be simpler. A mercy even. Do not have to wander anymore, no? Alas, we are here, you and I, wherever here may be.
I need to understand something that's happened to me. She nods, a look of pity on her face as though consoling a child.
The world looks a little different than it used to, is that it? Feels like you're noticing things for the first time that have always been there.
She nods.
You have seen past the shroud. It only takes an instant. Your soul remembers, yes? Remembers how it sees when it leaves the body, like being reminded of a dream you had forgotten. You are a watcher now, and a watcher you will stay.
What's a watcher?
What indeed? Long hours have many animancers spent studying such things. Not I, though. Not I. I'll tell you what I know, though, since fair is fair. And here we are, visiting, you and I, and it reminds me of better times. Souls pass on. Some say through Audra stones, which are the blood veins of the world. They leave the world for a time and are reborn into it, sometimes more than they were before, but usually less and seldom the same. For all souls there is a time where they do not live, yet have not passed on, and those souls roam the world, same as you or I, either living or lost. But no one sees them because they have forgotten how. A watcher sees, though, knows what to look for. And sometimes they know a person just by looking at them, know where they've been in ages past when their bodies were other bodies. See memories even their owner can't recall. A wonder to behold when all goes well. A wonder!
What do you mean when all goes well?
Oh, nothing to be afraid of, I'm sure. It's just much to take in for some. Sometimes there's trouble sleeping or other difficulties.
She smiles at you reassuringly, fanning out a tuft of long whiskers that sprouts out from one of her cheeks.
You should see old Merwald. He could tell you much more than I. A watcher just like you. Helped many in his day. Took up in an old keep no one would claim. Not far, not far. Kanua, beyond the Black Meadow. He will welcome the company.
I think I survived the Buick. Do you know what that would be? Do you know why that would be?
Did you now, dear? My, that would be something, wouldn't it? Could be luck, could certainly be. A storm can be a careless thing. Or maybe it got its hands around your soul but couldn't pick it up. A soul can be heavy if it stayed in one piece through its time. Strong souls, we call them in the trade. Cold, I mean. Called them. Those days are all behind me, no?
You said souls break apart over time?
Oh, yes. Entropy. Rimagan's work. We know little of why or how. We lose pieces of ourselves when we die and pick up pieces of others when we are born again, but less than what we lost. We tried to stop it with the animantic sciences, but with little success. No. A very small few resist Rimergan's influence and stay together through some force of defiance, at least for a time. But they all succumb eventually, I think.
She clicks her tongue. I want to know something about you.
Me? I'll bore you to tears, though.
Well, who are you?
And here I thought you'd come to visit me in particular. Caldara de Baranzi, of the Valian Royal Academy of Animantic Sciences. Not the greatest of their number, but I came here all the same because this was where help was needed.
So, what happened to you? She laughs, a rasping, choked cackle escaping between rows of buttery yellow teeth, causing her body to bob up and down with each spasm. Seeing your blank expression, she catches herself.
Oh, come now, such a question, as though the answer were plain as a rope tied for strangling. Allow an old dwarf her last bit of cheer. Well, I came where I was needed, didn't I? Offered my services to Lord Bradrick for a pittance, a humble pittance. I was to examine the Lord's wife, see why the gods have seen fit to poison her womb. Studied her for months, looked high and low for impurities, tested her valence, the permeability of her essence. Do you know what I found?
What?
Nothing at all. A healthy woman, head to toe, blessed with a beautiful soul. Such a sweet woman, too. Meek, but warm-hearted. A few months' time, and the lord of the house demanded answers. For a time, I told him what he wanted to hear. Oh, yes, my lord, she is riddled with imbalances. I must have time to cure her. As the birth drew near, he grew impatient, as lords do. And this is where I've ended up.
What's an animancer?
A student of the soul. Something so basic, yet so poorly understood. But so many breakthroughs have been made in my lifetime. Had been made. Had been. To hear the locals tell it, we're a gang of soul manglers that preys upon the weak-minded. And the worst of us are. But the best of us, the best, inspirations, miracle workers. My parents were soul twins, miserable before they met, empty inside. It was an animancer who helped one find the other, turned their lives around. You wouldn't believe the stories. Amnesiacs helped to remember their lives. The suicidal brought back from the brink of oblivion. The elderly afforded extra moments to say their goodbyes. How soon we forget when we're afraid. It's a fascinating science, a fascinating time to be alive in a place like Deerwood that does not control the research, no? I love the Valian Republics for many things, but their recent caution will leave them behind, I fear.
Anything else? No. Bye.
Goodbye, my dear. It was lovely visiting.
Caldara closes her eyes and her head slumps forward over the news, and your surroundings seem to bleed into your vision from some unknown place of waiting. Alof looks at you through narrowed eyes. Are you alright? You seemed lost just now. Hi, I'm a watcher. His arched eyebrows recede into his hood. Well, that's interesting. He gives you a sly grin. And I expect this has something to do with the hooded figures in the ruins, In any case, I appreciate your honesty. Since we're traveling together, it's probably wise for us to share these things. Do you know anything about the Watchers? Only that they're rare and that they seem to have unique insights into certain soul conditions. He coughs, as you just demonstrated. Let's continue. There's
How may I
that.
help?
So, yeah. So I'm wrapping up for today. Goodbye, see you in the next one, and bye.